All right. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to be interviewing today our Miss Earth USA 2024, Bea Milan Windorski. Did I get that right?
Mian.
Mian.
Mian is or Milian is the Filipino
All right.
pronunciation.
So let's do it again. Bea Milian Windorski, right?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview me. I feel like this year has been a series of fangirl moments because first I got to meet Danny, then Kuya Adam G, and now you. So it's been so surreal to meet a lot of my favorite content creators.
Well, I can tell you that all of us are just as excited, just as kilig to meet you. So, one thing that I didn't know about you that I actually just found out earlier when talking to you is that you have Filipino heritage, right? You have Filipino roots. So, how does it feel to be back in the Philippines?
It feels amazing to be back in the Philippines. I grew up visiting here every couple of years because my Lola and my cousins, who actually just interviewed a few of us girls, still live here. And it really means the world to me to represent my multicultural heritage as the USA delegate. This year, heritage being the theme of Miss Earth means a lot because I'm the proud daughter of a Filipina American immigrant, but I'm also the proud daughter of a fourth generation Polish American. And regardless of when you came to the US, you're just as American, and it's all about chasing that American dream.
Amazing. Okay, so one thing that I was very curious to find out was that you were the very first delegate who came who arrived in the Philippines for Miss Earth 2024. So tell me a little bit of the reason why you decided to come so early.
I decided to come so early. I beelined to my Lola's place in La Union, which is a beautiful surfing town in the north of Luzon. And I really treasured the time I was able to spend with my family. But I also volunteered with a conservation program called Project Kerma. They mostly focus on turtle rehabilitation. And I actually had the pleasure of growing up volunteering there. And they brought me on a few school tours too, where I was able to connect with students talking about habitat loss for turtles, but also a bit about my advocacy, how humans, we are also losing our habitats and our living spaces.
Absolutely. That's so interesting, and I cannot wait to see how you're going to present all of that during the Miss Earth pageant. So I have prepared a couple of questions for you. I want you to express yourself as freely as you can. So I'll ask you the question, I'll hand you the microphone, and when you're done, you hand it back to me. All right. So the first question goes like this. The USA has diverse environmental landscapes and policies. How do you plan to unify your message to appeal to people from different regions of the country?
Definitely. So when I communicate to people from all over the country, including some of my family members who might not even believe in climate change, what I really emphasize is the introduction of fossil fuels and human activity. You see the warming of our planet increase exponentially. So the scientific link is really clear. And I always encourage a transition away from fossil fuels to a clean energy transition because the US is one of the primary exporters and producers of fossil fuels and things like liquefied natural gas. So in my capacity as Miss Earth USA, I've advocated for a banning of fracking and liquefied natural gas production and have encouraged people to use systems of governance, lobbying, and contacting their policymakers to really make a change.
Oh my God, that's just the first question and she's already dropping the mic. You're amazing.
Thank you.
All right, so the next question goes like this. What role do you think young people in the USA play in addressing climate change, and how will you inspire them to take action?
I've been so fortunate to connect with different climate activists who are part of Gen Z all over the US. I actually had the pleasure of helping facilitate the first ever Los Angeles Climate Week, and a real central theme of that was prioritizing young voices because we are the ones who are inheriting this planet and the ones who will have to live with it. So I really hope to encourage people not to feel despair about how rapidly our climate is changing, but rather feel hope that we can take small everyday actions, but also push our governments to do better to make a real change. And we did things like an ocean beach cleanup, a climate march, and seeing that energy, seeing how many people turned out and felt sudden hope being around other people who felt similarly really meant the world to me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Can you share a specific project or campaign that you've been part of that aligns with the values of Miss Earth? So earlier you were talking about your advocacy. I believe if you can expand a little bit more.
So I've been working on launching a public education program called the Higher Ground Initiative, which raises awareness of climate displaced people worldwide. And I've really had the pleasure of connecting with different NGOs like We Are All America to raise awareness of how climate displacement is not only due to intensified natural disasters in the short term, but also due to the prolonged impacts of climate change like desertification and rising sea levels. And I'm excited to use this platform to encourage people to contact their policymakers to support the Climate Displaced Persons Act within the United States. This would introduce 30,000 climate refugee visas, and the U.S. being a leader in the global policymaking sphere, if we are able to make a change, I really think and believe our allies would follow suit.
Oh my God. I'm really impressed by your advocacy, and not only that, but also the way that you explain it. I mean, these are very complex subjects, complex issues, right? But you have this facility to just, simplify it for the audience. May I ask you, this is not on the list of questions, but may I ask you, when did your passion for the environment start?
I actually started my activism in the refugee rights space. I volunteered as an English as a new language tutor in my hometown of Milwaukee. And for the longest time, a lot of my students were political refugees or displaced by conflict. However, I noticed that a rising share of them were actually partially displaced due to climate change. A lot of my students from South and Central America were from farming backgrounds. However, due to the desertification of their farmlands, they were no longer able to economically support themselves. So while at first glance it looked like they were economic migrants, actually climate played a large role in their movement. And that's how I became passionate about environmentalism and including intersectionalism, understanding that there are different factors at play that make people vulnerable and how climate can drive that displacement as well.
Thank you. You're a role model indeed for the young generation. All right, so how do you see the Miss Earth title amplifying your environmental advocacy efforts, both nationally and globally?
I already feel as if being Miss Earth USA has amplified my voice because through working as this national title holder, I've been able to make connections with NGOs and government organizations like the Environmental Protection Agency, not only to create opportunities and a network for me, but also for future Miss Earth USAs. And that's an energy that I would love to bring to the international title. For me, pageantry isn't about just amplifying my voice and message. It's also about uplifting other women's voices and also amplifying the voices of our most vulnerable populations around the globe. I also have aspirations to one day work for the UN High Commissioner for Refugees to expand legal pathways for climate refugees so that they can seek asylum in safer countries. And Miss Earth really aligns perfectly with that, being the only international pageant to ever be recognized by the UN.
Well, I do believe you're in the right spot, the right platform to amplify your message, especially to reach many people from all over the world who resonate with your cause and can help you bring it even further. All right, and last but not least, what's one change you think needs to happen at a national level to significantly improve the environmental protection in the USA?
A campaign that I've been really proud to work on is with Chile app. It's actually a climate activist app where people can harness the power of social media to contact their policymakers and different change makers like news organizations and NGOs. And we've been working on a ban for liquefied natural gas, which is a form of fossil fuels that actually produces 4 times as much methane as just using coal. And it's been touted as this green energy alternative. However, I think it's really important that we nip it in the bud now before it becomes more of a source of dependency for not only the US, but we also export it all over the globe. I really think a transition to renewables like wind and solar is necessary if we're going to combat the climate crisis.
Thank you so much for your time today. I know I'm just crashing your trainings right now, so thank you for giving me, a couple of minutes to talk to you and get to know you.
Thank you you so much for highlighting our voices and advocacies too. I really appreciate that bloggers take the time to not only know us and the glitz and glamour of pasarela training and the more fun aspects, but also what really drives us as queens.
Well, thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to meet you, to spend time here with you. And before I let you go, what's your message to the audience? How can they support you ahead of this upcoming journey with Miss Earth?
Thank you so much for taking the time to support our Earth Queens. Please follow my journey at Miss Earth USA and my journey beyond the crown at Earth Queen Bea. I intend to continue my environmental advocacy work beyond the international competition, so it would mean the world to me if you supported my projects as well. Maraming salamat po for tuning in.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And please support our queen. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. Welcome back, everyone. And I am here today with our Miss Earth Wales 2024. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Really excited to be here in the Philippines training.
Well, I'm just as excited to be here with all of you because this is my first impression, not only of you, but also of all the queens who are training here today. So for those who don't know you just yet, would you please introduce yourself?
As Lewis has said, my name is Grace Gavigan and I am Miss Earth Wales 2024. I'm currently a full-time law student studying at Wales's top university, and I'm the founder of the Pollinator Pathways Community Project.
Absolutely incredible, just as expected, right? So I would like to ask you, where did your passion for the environment and taking care of Mother Earth, when did it all start for you?
Well, I feel like I've been on this journey for a lifetime. Since a young age, I've loved spending time outdoors with my family, trying to attract wildlife into my garden. But I'd have to say the catalyst was started to volunteer for the Wildlife Trust, which is a charity based in the UK. And so I joined their youth forum at the age of 8 years old. And I was really fortunate to experience some of Wales's greatest wildlife phenomenons growing up, which really encouraged me to go out and protect these incredible species. How many people know that we have dolphins off the coast of West Wales and that we don't need to go abroad to see these animals in captivity? So I'd say definitely volunteering was the foundation to my devouring passion for our wildlife and protecting our biodiversity.
Absolutely incredible. And I think that's such an important thing to highlight. You know, sometimes we think that in order to see wildlife or animals, we need to go to a zoo or an aquarium, but sometimes we forget that there's a lot that can be seen in our localities, in our countries, right? All right, so I'm gonna start with the first question for you, Grace. How do you think your Welsh heritage influences your perspective on environmental conservation and activism?
Well, despite being from the small country of Wales, we're an incredibly proud and communal country. Welsh people are renowned for being incredibly friendly, and the way that I apply my heritage to my advocacy is our pride in our natural landscape. We have so many habitats in Wales, from sprawling mountains to ancient woodlands, and also our sandy coastlines and dunes. So the variety of species that we have in Wales is incredibly vast. So when applying that intangible heritage and tangible heritage to my advocacy, I have gained so much knowledge from that sense of community, passed on from volunteers before me. So through that knowledge, I can bring that to the Miss Earth stage. So it's really about sharing that with others. That's really important for my advocacy.
Absolutely. And I think that joining a pageant, especially a platform such as Miss Earth, is such a fun way to spread your message and create awareness, right? So you're on the right path right here. All right, so the next question goes like this. Wales is known for its stunning landscapes. How do you balance promoting tourism while advocating for environmental protection?
This is a really good question. So earlier this year, I had the opportunity to go to Welsh Parliament, the Senedd, to speak to my politicians about the importance of sustainable tourism. And what I've really learned is that it depends on three factors: respecting the local community, ensuring that there's good relationships, accommodating the environment, ensuring that it's not compensating to ensure the visitor has a good experience, but also providing for the visitor, giving them the best experience and taste of Wales possible. So when all of those pillars are in harmony, we can ensure that we are protecting our environment and natural landscape, but also encouraging tourists to come and experience the wonders of Wales.
Well, I've never been to Wales, but now I'm putting it on my bucket list
You
because
should definitely come. We have the most castles per square mile in the world. I think you would love it.
definitely going on the bucket list. All right, next question for you says, what specific environmental challenge in Wales are you passionate about solving, and how do you, and how do you hope to bring attention to it on a global stage?
Absolutely. So everybody knows about the climate crisis, but there's not much awareness on the biodiversity crisis, which is intrinsically linked. So here in Wales, 1 in 6 species are at risk of extinction, and as a volunteer, that's particularly startling to me. So my advocacy is the Pollinator Pathways Community Project, which focuses on helping our declining pollinators, such as bees and butterflies, that are keystone species and vital for the survival of our biodiversity. So this community project sets to go about into my local community. I have worked with health boards and schools, so a variety of people from all different walks of life and ages. And this is something I'm really excited to bring to the Miss Earth stage. And I'd love to deliver this project globally. Pollinators are so important for all countries, all biodiversities, all ecosystems. So bringing awareness to this issue of declining biodiversity and tackling that through my community project is something I'm incredibly passionate about.
Well, that's super interesting. I was not aware of it, right? So just this is what I love about my job, talking to the girls. I get to learn a lot and just be more conscious about our Mother Earth.
I could talk about it all day.
I bet you can. All right. And next question for you says, can you share an experience where you directly worked with the local community on a sustainability project?
Absolutely. So with my Pollinator Pathways community project, I've had the chance to go into a local school, multiple local schools, but one of the highlights was my school from when I was little, and seeing the children, their eyes light up. They truly do have a passion and love for our natural world, but it's working with our curriculums and with our teachers and with our schools to enlighten them and bring that education directly into our schools and curriculums. So seeing that, and the children light up, and they couldn't wait to go home and tell their parents that I've helped the bees today, I've helped our butterflies today, especially in rainy Wales when we had one day of sunshine. It's nurturing that passion and love for our natural world that's going to be incredibly important in the fight against climate change.
That must have felt like such a full circle moment for you to go back to your school and teach the kids, right?
Yeah, very nostalgic. It was really nice to see all my old teachers, and they were so encouraging and supportive as well. And that's what I love about my local community. They have really pushed me to continue delivering this advocacy. And without them, I wouldn't have been able to plant over 50,000 wildflower seeds so far.
Everyone, give it up for her. Please go ahead and support. All right, and last but not least, your question goes like this. If you win Miss Earth, what immediate steps would you take to champion your environmental advocacy, both locally and internationally?
I have had a vision and I have put a plan in place for if I was to win Miss Earth 2024. First of all, what an absolute honour that would be. So I'd absolutely love to enrol this project globally, as I have done it to a high scale locally. As we know, pollinators are so important for every ecosystem. So to be able to enrol that globally, using the help of my Miss Earth sisters, is something I'd really love to do. And not only that, I'd love to have this tangible data by the end of my reign so I can monitor the progress and the real impact that we're making and helping the planet. But I'd also love to turn this into a legacy project, continue this year after year, even long after I have passed on my crown. As our first Miss Earth said, Katharina Svensson, it's more than a job. It's more than a title, it's a lifetime reign. And this is something I carry with me for life, and I'd love to leave that legacy and lasting impact.
Amazing. Well, I just want to say I'm so impressed by you. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you and to just share a little bit of your platform with my audience as well. I will give you the microphone for a couple of seconds, and I will allow you to let people know how they can support you on this journey and where they can find you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. It means the absolute earth to me to have your support. You can find me on social media. I've written Miss Earth Wales, or my Instagram tag is _Grace Gavigan. Remember, the smallest individual actions can in fact make the biggest difference in being the tidal wave of change in tackling these issues such as climate change and biodiversity loss. As together, as a powerful community, we will achieve such difference. Thank you so much. Salamat po.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, and I cannot wait to see everything you will present to us during the Miss Earth competition.
Thank you so much for having me.
Best of luck. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and see you on the next one. Welcome back, everyone. So today I have the pleasure to be here seated with our Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2024, Bianca Caraballo. How are you doing, Bianca?
I'm super great. I'm beyond blessed to be here and be here with you, actually, that he's from Cuba. I was actually surprised when I heard them speak Spanish. I'm like, where are you from? And I heard the accent. I'm like, okay, Cuba. Perfect.
Surprise, surprise.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Is it your first time in the Philippines?
First time in Asia and generally, first time in the Philippines, and I could say I'm totally in love with it. It has a real similarities to Puerto Rico, where I'm from, so I'm so happy to be here.
And you've been here for how many days already?
4 days. I think this is my 5th, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. And I see you're fully immersed in the culture. I mean, you're literally training your walk here with the biggest camp in the country. So you are in the best hands. And I also heard that you're just about to try balut later.
So that's a challenge they have told me, like Miss USA actually, that you heard from her. She told me to try balut, and I'm like, at first I'm like, of course, I'll try anything. Then when she explained what balut was, I was like, oh, but I'm still open to try it, you know? We're in the Philippines, might as well like dive in the culture, you know? Have you tried balut?
Well, how can I put this? No, I have not, and I will not try it. I've been here for 2 years already, and no one has managed to convince me.
Oh my God.
But best of luck to you. More power. If you try it, film it, because people love to see foreigners' reactions when they try balut for the first time.
We're gonna film it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a live so you can get a live reaction of me trying it.
Awesome. I'll be looking out for that content. Okay, so I have a couple of questions prepared to you regarding Miss Earth, your journey, your advocacy. So let's talk about it. So Puerto Rico has been impacted by natural disasters such as hurricanes. How do these experiences shape your approach to environmental advocacy?
So, thank you so much for that question. My advocacy centers in environmental conservation and mental well-being, how important it is to transform action words into action. And in Puerto Rico, we have been through devastating disasters. It's really important that recognize that these disasters also affect us mentally. Depression, we're like, a lot of people like lost their homes because of these disasters. So I aim to cultivate just that, to acknowledge that when nature thrives, so do we.
Absolutely. And I mean, I can tell from coming from a neighbor island, you know, that hurricanes can have a huge impact, not only in, you know, like the country and the economy, but as you said, like it really takes a toll emotionally and personally, mentally, when you see so many of your good friends and family affected by this type of catastrophes, right?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like we're all in this together, and that's something that really distinguishes our Puerto Rican and Latin nature. We're really resilient, and throughout these years, I've seen how constantly we're trying to get better and conserve what the only home we have, which is our Mother Earth. So it's really important to focus on that.
Absolutely. I love it, and I agree with this message.
Approved.
Approved. All right. Your next question says, what environmental initiatives are you currently involved in that you believe can create lasting change in Puerto Rico?
So, throughout my advocacy, I have this movement called Monday Actions in my platform, my social platform called Siembra Vida, which is cultivating life. And throughout these platforms, throughout Siembra Vida, I am to do beach cleanups, to promote environmental sustainability. And through my Monday Actions, which, fun fact, Monday Action started, it was a movement started. I sat down with my director, with Joe. I don't know if you had the chance to meet Joe. Yeah, we love him. So I sat down with Joe, and we were talking about how how we could find a way to use my voice, because I was actually a really timid person before I competed in beauty pageants. It's my first pageant ever, and I was like, okay, Joe, how can I engage with my following and my fans, and I also set a message that could be relatable, not to be like when sometimes we think about sustainability and talking about environmental issues, and it's kind of boring when people think about it. So how can I set a message and people relate to me and really understand the importance of conserving our environment? So we started Monday Actions, which first things first in the morning, first day of the week, and I made little videos of taking action, doing beach cleanups, talking about the importance of conserving our planet, and little did I know the impact I had on my following. At first it was like a way for me to express myself and get that timid out of the way and engage with my following, and it started a movement. I actually went viral twice, so that was like, I was like, what? It was like followers are not it, but I had 2,000 followers and then jumped to 10,000 followers. It was like, okay, I'm making an impact to 10,000 people, and that's what I aim to cultivate here in Miss Earth, like just to get my platform to a higher level. And what a more important cause than saving, of course, our Mother Earth. So yeah, it's been a beautiful ride.
I actually love to hear that, because sometimes in the pageant community we have this stigma that environmental causes and advocacies are quite heavy and difficult to understand. But you are living proof that you can simplify the message, put it on social media, and make it accessible to everyone, for everyone to understand,
I
right?
really think that people don't acknowledge the importance, and something when I was choosing what pageant to participate, I wanted one that was aligned with my story of life, and also one that I could go authentically and pursue it. And I was thinking, I'm like, there's a lot of big platforms and big pageants that they aim for different causes, which are really important. We could talk about equality, about feminism, are really important things to talk about. But the thing is that we're advocating for the most important cause there is, our Mother Earth, because without our Earth, we cannot advocate for other things. So that's why I chose this platform, and I'm living proof that it has been alright. It's been amazing. It feels good to advocate for the most important thing there is.
Awesome. I'm really, really happy to hear about your advocacy. So, next question. As a representative of Puerto Rico, how do you plan to use your Miss Earth platform to raise awareness about the island's unique environmental challenges?
So it's actually something I'm working on right now. I'm aimed to make my voice heard, not just in my island, just throughout nationally. And now I have the opportunity to not only cultivate that with 90 other candidates that are participating in Miss Earth platform, but internationally here in the Philippines and everyone that's seeing us. And for me, Puerto Rico has been through a lot, and I've seen how a small island has so much to offer, so much rich diversity and biodiversity, and we don't appreciate it. I remember I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii, which is beautiful, but I was expecting like beautiful beaches, something beyond what I usually see back home. And little did I know, the only difference was that Hawaii conserves their beaches and are appreciated, but I'm sorry. I was eating almonds, I'm sorry. They really appreciate what they have, and they're really jealous of what they have. Just like our Native Americans, they didn't even think about the present. They thought about the future generations to come. And that's what Puerto Ricans don't acknowledge it. And that's what I'm trying to move for, because Puerto Rico has so much beautiful beaches. I don't know if you had the chance to go to Puerto Rico. We need to go. We need to go. Beautiful beaches. The only bad thing is we don't recognize it. And when we go, there's like reggaeton on us. And they're like, they don't conserve the beaches. So my surprise, the only difference was that. And I think that's the most important thing to like acknowledge and think about and literally appreciate what we have, because it's really important.
So I love that you ended your answer here with this point, because that perfectly fits my next question to you, which is, what advice would you give to Puerto Ricans looking to become more environmentally conscious in their everyday lives?
Okay. I think they need to recognize that easier to save our planet than to destroy it. And it's more easier than you think. Sometimes we think about, yeah, let's wait for other people to make changes so we can make them. No, start with yourself. Micro impacts create major impacts on the world. So small sustainable changes like water drainage, like the consumerism, like those are things that are simple, and if we did do it daily and impact others to do it as well, we can have a macro change in our world. So that's my message, and of course, conserve our beaches. It's the most important thing. The world is surrounded by it, by water. It's like major important, and yeah, that's my message to my island and to the world.
I love it. The message is super empowering, super simple, easy to follow, and I hope that everyone at home is taking notes, not just for Puerto Rico, but everywhere in the world, right? Everywhere. All right, last but not least.
More questions.
If crowned Miss Earth, how would you advocate for more resilient infrastructure and disaster preparedness in climate vulnerable regions of Puerto Rico?
So right now we're dealing with an environmental crisis that throughout the years we need to reconceptualize the materials we use for construction, where we're gonna build our places. In Puerto Rico, for instance, they're having private properties and literally buying our beaches. Little do they know when hurricanes comes, they destroy everything, and those infrastructure go to the ocean. So it's really important to reconceptualize the materials we use, how we use them, and where we'll rebuild them, because we can't just think about the present. Let's think about the future generations to come and how the actions of today affect their tomorrow.
Honestly, I'm so impressed right now because that question was so difficult. I had to read it to myself twice before I even ask it. And you got that straight up. Okay, we've been talking in English all throughout this interview, so maybe for the end, y si le puedes mandar un mensaje a la gente, ¿qué les dirías? ¿Cómo te pueden apoyar? A ver.
Bueno, ¿cómo me pueden apoyar? No, porque literalmente, justamente cuando recibí esa corona en Puerto Rico, he recibido el apoyo y el amor del puertorriqueño. O sea, siento que el puertorriqueño se distingue por ser, aparte de fanáticos, porque somos fanáticos y somos fan y exclusos de los certámenes de belleza, deportes, de lo que sea, no importa qué. La realidad es que desde el día 1 he recibido todo el amor y todo el cariño y se lo agradezco 1.000.000 porque me llena de fuerza día a día. Desde febrero estamos todos los días preparándome. Yo no sé, ahorita te cuento de lo que hemos pasado, cómo ha sido mi preparación, porque no ha sido fácil. El que me diga que los certámenes de belleza son fáciles, mira, hay que vivirlo. Pero nada, les envío un beso, gracias por todo, estamos aquí. O sea, nada más y nada menos, me he gozado absolutamente todo, he conocido diferentes culturas y en la vida pensé estar pasando por este momento, así que les agradezco por absolutamente todo y sigan las plataformas y sigan mi trayectoria rumbo a esa corona del Miss Earth.
All right, everyone. I think she said that perfectly. So you know what to do. Please go ahead, show some love and support. Even though the Puerto Ricans are already right behind her, everyone else from all over the world, go ahead and show this amazing girl some love. Thank you so much for your time, for being here. And I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Welcome back again, everyone. Today I have the absolute pleasure to be here with our Miss Earth Netherlands 2024. And I will just pass you the microphone. Please introduce yourself.
So, hi everyone, and mabuhay Philippines. My name is Velen Panteleimonia, Miss Earth Netherlands 2024, and I'm really excited to be here. Currently studying Bachelor in Communication and advocating against plastic pollution. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us. And is this your first time in the Philippines?
Yes. Do I need to?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Yes, it's my first time, and it's such a great welcome. They are so sweet, and I'm half Indonesian, so the cultures are actually a little bit the same. People are also very sweet, so it feels like coming home.
Awesome. Well, I'm very excited for you because one of the things about Miss Earth is that you will get to travel and visit so many different places in the country. So when the journey starts, you will discover the Philippines like nobody else.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I have a couple of questions prepared for you. I will pass you the microphone, you answer, and then you give it back when you're ready. Okay? First question says, The Netherlands is known for its innovative approach to environmental issues like water management and renewable energy. How do you plan to promote these solutions globally?
So Netherlands is actually one of the smartest countries when it comes to engineering for in the environment, and I'm very proud that I'm from the Netherlands because we also have a Dutch inventor, Boyan Slat. He's the inventor of the ocean cleanup and already picked up 10 million kilograms of plastic. So that is just great that he does that. And I think that we should promote those things by promoting reusable products and just going by bike, going by not by taxi, just to reduce our footprints. Yes.
Awesome. Makes absolute sense. Thank you so much. Next question for you says, what inspired you to join Miss Earth and how does it align with your existing environmental advocacy?
So what inspired me is I think that Miss Earth is just so much more than a beauty pageant. We all have a passion, nature, and we can all advocate for what we truly care about. So from a young age, I really had a love for nature and animals. And when I competed at Miss Earth, I can just give all that love and energy and all my passion in advocating against plastic pollution. Because plastic pollution is affecting our marine life, and they are dying. Seals especially are dying because they are tangled up in fishing nets and six-pack rings. So advocating for such a beautiful subject where I'm so passionate about is what truly gives me motivation.
Thank you so much. Can you tell us about an environmental project or initiative in the Netherlands that you're particularly proud of?
Of course. So what I already mentioned is the ocean cleanup by Boyan Slat. He's a Dutch inventor, and what they are doing is by boat they were picking up plastic, and it's like 10 million kilograms already. And he's working on a new system right now, and that's just a thing I'm so proud of. That he's from the Netherlands and he's going worldwide. So really proud of that.
Thank you so much. If you win the Miss Earth crown, how will you combine the Netherlands' environmental expertise with the global platform to create meaningful impact?
So by winning Miss Earth, I will still keep on advocating for my passion, plastic pollution, and I also have the ability to travel to different countries and to educate people about how we also in the Netherlands stay sustainable. And I will tell about the reusable products, but also tell them that we are always going by bike. We have more bikes than people in the Netherlands, so I also always go by bike. It's so much better for the environment, and I will just educate them about those things.
Awesome. Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you is, when we hear about the Netherlands, we always hear about the innovation and how they're so ahead of everyone in terms of their policies and their climate change approach. But of course, the Netherlands also faces certain environmental challenges, right? So what are some of those challenges that you would like to bring attention to?
So Netherlands is a really flat country. We're laying beneath the water, so we have much dijken to reduce the water to overflow. But when there is an environmental issue like climate change, the warming of the earth will create more water. So our land can be Atlantis if we are not helping our country. So that is really a problem where we're working on in the Netherlands. Yes.
Thank you. That's something that I didn't know about. So.
No? Oh,
No.
yeah, it's real thing. That we're low, so we can be Atlantis, but we're working on it. So it is perfect. Yes.
That's one of the things that you get to learn when you listen to Miss Earth candidates.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. One last question for you regarding your preparation here in the Philippines and everything. So, of course, we also said Miss Earth is all about advocacy and the environment, but it's also a beauty pageant. So we love to see the girls walking on stage and the looks and everything. What have you prepared for us this Miss Earth season?
So I started preparing very early and every day working on my outfits, my dress, and training at KF camp here in the Philippines. I came 1 week earlier to work on my communication skills and on my catwalk. And I think that's also really important to show how you are in your catwalk, to give some personality. And that's when I'm really just putting on the perfect catwalk on stage. I'm working on it really hard here in the Philippines.
Thank you so much. And once again, I want to thank you for your time, for being here with us, and for sharing your platform, of course, with my audience as well. Let us know, please, how can we support you on this upcoming journey?
So you can follow me on my social media. My social media is Portelles. It's a hard name, so but you can also search on Miss Earth Netherlands and you can follow my journey. I would really love that. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time and best of luck during Miss Earth 2024.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to all of you, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now. Bueno, bienvenidos todos una vez más. Tengo el placer hoy de estar aquí sentado con nuestra Miss Earth República Dominicana, Tamara Aznar. ¿Cómo estás, Tamara?
Todo muy bien, gracias a Dios. Aquí disfrutándome Filipinas a su máximo.
Escucho que es la primera vez que vienes a Filipinas, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo son las primeras impresiones?
Súper bien, me ha encantado todo, o sea, el trato de las personas, el profesor de pasarela, magnífico, otra fragancia de verdad, Filipinas.
Y llegaste anoche, ¿verdad? O sea que hace menos de 24 horas que estás aquí en el país y ya directo a los entrenamientos.
Directo a lo que vamos.
Exacto, o sea que venimos fuerte este año para el Miss Tierra.
Mediante, sí.
Ok, perfecto, mira, te voy a hacer un par de preguntitas, tú me respondes como puedas, yo te doy el micrófono, tú respondes y luego cuando termines me devuelves el micrófono, ¿ok? Bueno, dice, la República Dominicana tiene algunos problemas del medio ambiente bastante particulares. ¿Cuáles problemas te apasionan más y te gustaría presentar durante esta plataforma del Miss Tierra?
Bueno, uno de las principales problemáticas que tiene mi país, aparte de lo visible, a veces de la misma basura, sería la concientización, la falta de educación que nosotros tenemos en base al cuidado del medio ambiente. Creo que si se hacen más campañas, o sea, si se promueve un estilo de vida sostenible, se puede lograr hacer muchas cosas positivas, porque aparte de todo, República Dominicana es un país que vive del turismo. Entonces, si nosotros educamos de que tengamos turismo sostenible, o sea, sería maravilloso. Aparte de que estamos cuidando el planeta, estamos dando una buena impresión, porque todo está en su lugar, ¿entiendes? Sí.
Muchas gracias. Mira, me encantó que hablaste del turismo porque es muy similar a mi país, Cuba. República Dominicana es un país que depende mucho de la industria también del turismo, ¿verdad? Entonces, siendo tú de Dominicana, ¿cómo me dirías, cómo sería una buena estrategia para promover el turismo ecorresponsable en el país? ¿Qué te parece?
Okay. Bueno, una forma es esta misma plataforma, yo hablar sobre este tipo de problemáticas y darle una pincelada a eso, recordarle a las personas también que no solamente es cuidar tu casa donde tú vives, o sea, tú también vives en la tierra que es tu casa y debemos cuidarla.
Perfecto. Y mira, una cosita que me gustaría preguntarte porque, o sea, ahora que estás aquí en el Miss Tierra, es una plataforma muy grande de la cual en esta plataforma puedes hablar de muchos temas distintos. Entonces, ¿qué fue lo que te motivó a ti para elegir tu plataforma como tal? O sea, tu causa social. ¿Por qué te enfocaste en ese aspecto y no en otro tema?
Okay. Bueno, mi causa realmente habla sobre el turismo sostenible. Es en base a eso, siempre me ha gustado los paisajes, nosotros tratar de cuidar, por ejemplo, cuando voy a una playa trato de dejarla más limpia de lo que la encontré. Entonces, siempre me he afianzado y me he ido por esa línea personalmente y por eso estoy aquí hablando sobre eso.
Muchísimas gracias y me parece un buen mensaje también para la gente que nos está mirando, para la juventud, porque creo que la educación, como decimos siempre, empieza en la casa, ¿no? Y también en los modelos a seguir que vemos en las redes sociales, en la televisión, en lo que sea. O sea que el hecho de que tú te estás presentando en frente de un certamen tan grande, con tanto público, poniendo un mensaje tan bonito ahí, me parece que le va a llegar a muchísima gente de República Dominicana y de todo el mundo, ¿verdad? A ver, cuéntame, ¿cómo te parece que una plataforma como la de la Miss Tierra puede ayudar a los problemas ecológicos o del medio ambiente en tu país? O sea, ¿cómo pasamos de un certamen que está literalmente en Filipinas a tener un impacto en República Dominicana?
No solamente es tener, o sea, alzar la voz. Inmediatamente uno hace o sea, uno habla, uno pone un stop de cierta manera. Y sería no solamente hablando, sino actuando. Que no se quede, la chica, la Miss Earth participó en el concurso, muy bonita, pero yo llego y no, por ejemplo, tiro basura en la calle, no sirvo de ejemplo en mi país. Creo que básicamente sería eso, servir de ejemplo para las demás personas.
Muchísimas gracias. Y última pregunta que tengo planificada para ti. ¿Qué mensaje te gustaría enviarle a la gente en República Dominicana con respecto a la prevención del medio ambiente y el turismo ecológico, como tú habías mencionado?
Un mensaje. Bueno, que ya lo dije anteriormente, nuestro hogar es la tierra y nosotros tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidarlo. Entonces, granito a granito, por más insignificante que uno lo vea, uno ayuda muchísimo a la madre tierra.
Muchísimas gracias. Y bueno, Tamara, una pregunta que no tenía planificada, pero me pica la curiosidad. Más allá de Mis Tierras ser un certamen sobre el medio ambiente y todo lo que tiene que ver con el planeta, ¿verdad? Es también un certamen de belleza.
Sí.
Entonces, nos gusta ver las chicas bellas presentándose y me gustaría que me dijeras un poquito qué nos tienes preparado para esta sesión de Mis Tierras.
Ay. Bueno, ya todo está empacadito. Todo eso nada más era así, para salir. Gracias a Dios, sí, todo los vestidos, toda la preparación, de verdad, mira, ha sido un trabajo súper arduo. Yo desde afuera, como este es mi primer concurso, desde afuera yo lo veía y yo decía, wow, qué lindas las chicas, pero hay una preparación y un esfuerzo de verdad sobrehumano en este tipo de competencias. Entonces ya, o sea, lo de antes que yo veía a las chicas, ya le tengo de verdad su respeto, porque de verdad es fuerte.
Me encanta. Bueno, muchísimas gracias por tu tiempo, por estar aquí con nosotros, por compartir tu mensaje con la gente de mi plataforma y si nos pudieras decir cómo te pueden encontrar en las redes y cómo te pueden apoyar durante este certamen también.
Bueno, ahí está también la página de Miss Earth. Hay varias votaciones. Si les interesa, denme su ayudadita ahí, que no está de más. Me pueden encontrar en las redes Tamara Aznar, @Tamara Aznar, con Z.
Una vez más, muchísimas gracias. Te deseo la mejor de las suertes y nos estaremos viendo en estos días durante los eventos. Bueno, gracias a todos y nos vemos en la próxima. Chao.